Day 18, I'm starting to think that I made such a huge commitment for 100 days. Yesterday I thought about it. 100 days is so long, and it's only day 18, and I have to be showing up. What's really coming up for me now, and it's not new, I'm just continuously processing, is this fact that the whole experience of life is our internal experience. The way we've been conditioned to relate to life, and therefore people in our life, circumstances in our life, events in our life, is that we feel because of this thing that's happening on the outside. Whereas what I am understanding is that we feel what we feel based on our baggage and based on our beliefs about the way things should be. So, for example, in relationships, there is something, for example, what can I give as an example? When I felt that I'm being taken advantage of in my relationship, for example, where I was doing for everyone, carrying everyone on my shoulders, feeling completely depleted, feeling completely resentful, 3 children, husband who felt like a child, everything just felt so exhausting. And a lot of my anger and a lot of my suffering was because I felt that if he loved me, right, talking about my husband, if he loved me, he would have seen that I'm struggling. He would have offered to help. He would have, done more. And so I was stuck in these, because I guess my belief, right, my feelings came from my belief that when we love someone, we read their mind, or we just know. I didn't realize that my husband and my children, people take what we give. We set the tone for our relationship. So because I was trained and, observed my mother do, and then be resentful, I was just repeating the same pattern because that's all I knew. That's how I saw my mother behave. I, being a woman, took over the model of behavior, the archetype, if you want, that she expressed and showed and modeled. So then, I was just as angry and resentful of my husband as I watched my mom being angry and resentful of my father, because, she expected him to do something that she wasn't communicating about. So ultimately, what changed so much in my relationship is that I, first as a rebellion, and then just as the process of growth and self-responsibility, I started taking care of my own needs. It was even before I realized that nobody can really make me happy and nobody really can take care of my needs, that I first need to understand, first of all, what my needs are. And because the way we perceive situation, it was really hard to break out of that idea that I'm just so angry at my husband. I just couldn't get out of that anger, that I'm so angry at my husband that he's not seeing me and is not, pulling his weight. So what I finally understood is that what was happening is that I was doing a lot and I wasn't asking for help, and there wasn't maybe much help forthcoming, or maybe there was some help, but it wasn't quite the way I thought it should be. So I wasn't suffering. What became a quantum leap and a big shift in our relationship is that I started understanding that the problem is not that he is not helping. The problem, if there is such a thing even, it's just what is. The issue was that I was giving and giving, constantly sacrificing my needs for the needs of my family. And of course, we're trained for that also, being a mother in patriarchal society, sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. And we see it reinforced in our news at large now. You sacrifice your life for your children, born or unborn. So what I realized is that maybe I'm giving too much. Maybe my needs matter too. Maybe some things can be delayed. I don't have to do them. And also I realize that I'm always like running ahead of the train, that I foresee other people's needs even before they realize that they have these needs. So ultimately, when I started realizing that if I need rest, it's my responsibility. And if I need to do less, it's my responsibility to say it's okay to do less. Then it's my own inner relationship. It's me and me always, right? So when I realized that when I want to take a break and rest, what comes up for me are my own guilty feelings. It wasn't any kind of pressure from the outside. My husband would have never, probably voiced anything. If you saw me resting, he'd probably be like, oh, good for you. But I didn't know that because that wasn't modeled to me. And I just thought that there was that, inner voice, but I didn't realize that it was inner, that didn't allow me to rest, that didn't allow me to put my needs at least on the same level as the needs of my children. So back to where I'm starting with this video is that so much of our suffering is our inner dialogue. We think it's people out there, we project on them our needs, but nobody can help if I don't switch my own relationship with myself and all the inner voices, all the parts of who I am. The inner mother, the inner father, the inner child, protector, saboteur, victim, all that stuff. All these archetypes that are present within each one of us. When I started respecting my own needs, when I became my own, good parent, when I started respecting my needs, when I started giving myself permission to rest, when I started putting my needs at least on the same level as everybody else's needs, suddenly my husband started treating me differently. So today, for example, I no longer feel like I'm taken for granted at all because I have my own inner boundaries. I take care of me, I respect me, and so my husband is just responding to that. So nothing really changed in his behavior. The only thing that changed is my energetic blueprint, and now he's just responding to that. If before he was responding to the energetic blueprint that was implicit in me then, where I have no needs, I only take care of your needs, I'm here at your disposal, etc., etc., now he's responding to my energetic blueprint, which includes my needs, and I protect my needs, and I give myself time to rest, and I do what fills my heart with joy, etc., etc. That's how we create change in relationships. There's so much advice about you tell him this and you tell him that. And sure, we can communicate our needs with people. For example, we can say, hey, next time you pay for this, or next time you do this, or this time you do this, right? You wash the dishes now, or you set the table, or you make a meal, or whatever, right? Whatever it's that you are particularly dealing with. We can communicate it, but it all starts with us. It all starts with us. And everything that I do, everything that I teach, everything that I experiment with in my own life and then can use that medicine to others is about that, your relationship with you, me versus me. Always, always, always. It's the only thing that exists. It's the only thing that's real. It's the only way we can actually affect change. So really just wanted to share that today. I'm really allotted my awareness of, our inner relationship and how that feels and how that's expressed in the choices we make, and in the choices we make, first of all, for ourselves. All right, everyone. See you tomorrow.